ترجمة من كتاب رسالة المعاونة والمظاهرة والمؤازرة للراغبين من المؤمنين في سلوك طريق الآخرة للإمام شيخ الإسلام كتب الدعوة والإرشاد الحبيب عبد الله بن علوي بن محمد الحداد الحضرمي الشافعي رحمه الله رضي الله تعالى عنكم إلى أن قال. Until we're reading chapter 9 from this book, that is the book of assistance. وينبغي, and it is incumbent, it is becoming of you, أن يكون لك ورد من التفكر في كل يوم وليلة تعين له ساعة أو ساعات وأحسن الأوقات للتفكر أفرغها وأصفاها وأجدرها في حضور القلب جوف الليل. It is best that you would have a daily time that you set from day to day to regularly have a period for reflection of tafakkur. As we know, this term tafakkur has been defined by the psychologists and the scholars as to combine two things which are known in order to arrive at a third realization. Yes, in order to arrive at a conclusion. One form of tafakkur is the syllogism. Yes, like all men are mortal, and Ana, you put your name, is a man, is a person, so therefore I too am mortal. Of course, we arrive at the conclusion that all men are mortal by virtue of the fact that all living souls shall meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in the Quran subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Kullu nafsin la'ikatul maut. Yes, every living soul shall taste of death. So therefore, if I am a nafs, yes, that I am within the body, there will be time upon which I will leave the world. Of course, from that tafakkur, you produce the realization, therefore, that I have to find out, yes, for certain what's going to happen after I die. Yes, whether or not there will be resurrection. Yes, whether or not all my deeds will be accountable. And of course, we try to ascertain with certainty what our religion has taught us. And certainly after the acquisition of knowledge, after our realization that this world is but temporary, that there is going to be a day of resurrection, and then after that, a moment of judgment, and the judgment will depend on the sincerity of our actions. So therefore, that tafakkur will produce the state of realization that every day, yes, of your life is a day and a moment. Every day of your life and every breath that you take is a breath closer to you meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That kind of tafakkur, it will produce the state of khashya. It will produce the state of al-wara. Yes, according to our teachers, one of the best means to overcome, let us say, the strong beckoning of your desires. Yes, let us say that you are now, suffering this nafsul ammara within, that there is a strong desire towards that which is haram. There is a strong desire to perform that which is ma'siyah. Now, the way to overcome that strong desire, as explained by some of the scholars in the Ba'alawi tradition, is to remind yourself, yes, of tafakkur, yes, and to remind yourself of the reality of death, yes, to remind yourself of the reality of death, of your separation from the body, to reflect upon your loss of power and control over yourself as your soul begins to slip from your body, as you begin to be surrendered to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to contemplate about the two angels, yes, who will be a great source of trial for souls who do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that tafakkur therefore produces results. And so therefore Imam Haddad is saying that one of the wirid that you have as part of your daily practice is the wirid of tafakkur. And the best time for it, according to Imam Haddad, is the time of which you are free from distractions. Yes, and the best time for that would be especially with the presence of the heart in the middle of the night في جوف الليل. واعلم أن صلاح الدنيا والدين موقوف على صحة التفكر. And no, now this is a very significant point, that the rightness of the affairs of your dunya, of your living in this world, and the rightness of the affairs of your religion is dependent upon the validity of your thinking, the validity of your thinking. ومن أعطي حظه منه أخذ بحظ وافر من خير وقد ورد تفكر ساعة خير من إبادة سنة. So whoever then is given a great share, yes, whoever is given a great share of tafakkur, meaning to say right thinking, the kind of cognition that produces right conclusions, he has then been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly a great gift indeed. Yes, from all directions. And it is said, yes, yes, it has been reported, yes, ascribed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said that the tafakkur of an hour or a second is better than the ibadah of a sana. Now, there are various versions of this narration, of which the difference is with regards to the rewards. Some say like that of a year, some say like that of a certain rak'ah, meaning to say many rak'ahs performing in prayer, and some say more than a year, and so on. Our teacher, Professor Wan Muhammad Noor, explains that a possible interpretation to this is dependent on the quality and the effect. Yes, the quality and the effect of the thought. If a person's thought, yes, let us say tafkir, as we know, yes, the Islamic intellectual traditions of thinking, yes, because qiyas, yes, analogical reasoning, is considered a valid method to arrive at the truth of religious statements, or to arrive at the truth of religious practices, yes, in the schools of fiqh, yes. So, for example, if a person were to contemplate the verses of the Quran, to contemplate the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam pertaining to the permissibility, pertaining to the obligatoriness of a statement and so on. I mean to say, to be contemplating the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he or she will be rewarded. Yes, he or she will be rewarded with regards to, let us say, ascertaining whether something would nullify her wudu, something would be valid, and so on and so forth. Now, these things will all be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are striving to live in accordance with the principles of the religion. On the other hand, there are kinds of thought of which, great scholars, yes, great scholars, as we may describe them as great thinkers of the tradition, yes, perhaps they are of the mujaddid of the century, yes, the mujaddid of the century, of which as a result of their thought, entire communities are saved. Like, for example, Sayyidina Imam Shafi'i, yes, when the result of his contemplation, yes, the result of the contemplation is the establishment, yes, is the establishment of a valid methodology through which people can arrive at the right conclusions pertaining to religious practice. And whole communities benefited from this. So therefore, certainly, it is not just rewarded by the ibadah of a year, perhaps many, many years, yes, for as long as anyone benefits from the knowledge of Imam Shafi'i, or like Imam al-Ghazali, yes, through the labors of the Ihya, through the labors that he wrote in the Munkir min al-Dalal, the Tahafatul Falasifa, the Bidayatul Hidayah, all these works have benefited not few people, but many, numerous people until today. Yes, many people learn how to believe properly, how to act properly, yes, as a result of reading and benefiting from the works of Imam al-Ghazali. So these are all results of tafakkur, certainly. وقال علي كرم الله وجهه, the companion of the Prophet, Sayyidina Ali كرم الله وجهه, said, لا عبادة كالتفكر. There is no ibadah, yes, which is equivalent or which is akin to tafakkur. وقال بعض العارفين رحمهم الله الفكرة سراج القلب فإذا ذهبت فلا إضاءة له. Yes, some of the arifin, some of the knowers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they say that contemplation or thinking is the is the lantern of the heart, or is the is the light, is the lamp of the heart. If the light, yes, if the lamp goes off, yes, if the light goes off, or rather, if the candle or the light goes off, then there is no brightness to the heart. Yes, there is no brightness to the heart that does not contemplate, that does not think. Yes, wa majari al-fikr. Now, majari. So Imam Haddad talks about majari, meaning to say the paths. There are various paths of thinking that one can take. There are various forms of thinking that one can take. Yes, and these various lines of thinking, various paths of thinking, are ranked according to their nobility. فَمِنْهَا وَهُوَ أَشْرَفُهَا. So the highest rank, yes, of contemplation is أن تتفكر في عجائب مصنوعات الله الباهرة, is to contemplate about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. وآثار قدرته الباطنة والظاهرة, and to think about the effects of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala magnificent power, yes, in the realms unseen and the realms which is observed. وما بث من الآيات في ملكوت الأرض والسماوات, and to contemplate about the signs, yes, SIGNS, yes, in the kingdom of creation, be it on earth or in the heavens. وهذا التفكر يزيد في معرفتك بذات الله وصفاته وأسمائه. And this kind of line of thinking, meaning to say the ones taken by pious, the line taken by pious scientists, yes, as well as psychologists, as well as those who look into the earth or onto the realm of creation as symbols, yes, as symbols and signs of the greatness of the Creator, yes. This will produce an increase ma'rifah, yes, greater acquaintance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will find greater acquaintance with regards to His essence. How? Because you will know that your contemplation of the things of the world will arrive at the conclusion that nothing in the realm of existence, see, wallah, with the exception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is necessary, because every individual being is a contingent being. All of the things known in the world depend for their existence on something external to them. Yes, none of them are established by necessity. And if so, yes, if so, therefore, all the rest of creation is in dire need of a necessary being, yes, a necessary and self-sufficient being who is the direct cause of the existence of everything else. So therefore, you know, yes, through your reflection on the contingency of the universe, you arrive at the necessity of the Creator. And through the perception of regularities in the world, yes, and the brilliance of the systems at work, yes, in the ecosystems and the biological life forms, in the suitability for life, yes, on Earth. You may call the Goldilocks principle, in so far as everything is just right, as the gravitational constants and all these several constants that has been gradually discovered by the minds of the physicists and various thinkers, yes, establishes to the mind that this world is ever in need of a creator, yes, and if the creator were to cease support, yes, on the entire universe, it will not last a second, yes. The universe is not an independent structure. It is a dependent structure upon the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it establishes His necessity. It establishes also His permanence and everlasting. It establishes likewise that He is different from the rest of creation. It establishes likewise, yes, this is just from contemplation, His beauty, magnificence, His perfection of knowledge, and so on. Yes, and certainly you will, as the result also of contemplation of that which is closest to yourself, i.e. your very self, yes, when you contemplate about the life as it has been laid down for you, where you were born, yes, to which parents, and then where you were brought up, the so-called coincidences that you meet in your life, which are in reality not coincidences. These are all written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, in his taqdeer, yes, as he has planned it out. So these are all contemplations that lead you to the discovery of Allah's of the sifah, or rather to greater acquaintance of the attributes and the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you relate, yes, and when you relate uh, your contemplation with the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He has described Himself, you come to understand, therefore, yes, also your it strengthens also your belief in the Quran, that it is none other, yes, that the speaker, the author of the Quran is none other than this same creator who caused the existence of the universe. وقد حث الله عليه, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to it. Yes, قُلْ انظُرُوا مَاذَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. He says that you should observe what is it in the heavens and the earth. وَأَنْتَ مِنْ عَجَائِبِ الْمَصْنُوعَاتِ. And you yourself, yes, my dear listener, you yourself, yes, you yourself as an individual, yes, min عَجَائِبِ الْمَصْنُوعَاتِ. You are of the greatest, you are of the most magnificent creation. Yes, فَتَفَكَّرْ فِي نَفْسِكَ. Yes, as we know, Imam al-Ghazali wrote in the Kitab Ajaibul Qalb, yes, the book on the wonders of the heart, yes, that the human is a microcosmic representation of the universe, a microcosmic representation of the universe. Huwa alamus saghir. Yes, and alamus saghir is basically the universe in summary. Yes, the universe in summary, as if the entirety of the ocean in a glass of water, because in us, yes, all the elemental natures, yes, in the human being is perceived at and this is before the realization of the development of the science of chemistry and physics and biology in the modern sense. We already know, yes, that in us is a clay-like structure, that there is heat, there is water, there is air within the human beings, and you look at the beautiful and upright structure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with, and that He has created the gray matter that is our brain, and the spirit, yes, that basically utilizes the central nervous system and the system of the brain in the let us say in the functioning of your day-to-day life. And this is not to mention also the wonderful inter or rather the wonderful space, or what we may call the barzakh, the ismus, the interface between the spirit and the body. Yes, whereby we have periods of time of which we leave the body without our control. Yes, they are from day to day. You fall to sleep, and then you awake. Yes, and in your sleep, sometimes you're presented with dreams. Yes, sometimes you're presented with a world. Yes, a world of not of your making. Yes, we wonder. Yes, did it come from our memory? Because in our wakeful state, yes, in our wakeful state, we cannot reproduce the world in the same way as in our dream reproduce the world is produced before our imagination. So قال الله تعالى وفي الأرض آية للموقنين وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون. And in the earth, yes, in the world that we live in, these are signs of Creator. وفي أنفسكم, in fact, in your very self, are signs of the Creator. أفلا تبصرون, do you not see? Yes, so that is why, as it is said, Man arafa nafsah faqad arafa rabbah. Whoever knows himself knows his Lord. Yes, because in himself are the signs of his Lord. So greater acquaintance with yourself would translate to greater acquaintance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As here, this is the verse that proves it. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. In yourself are signs and indicators, and signs and indicators. And signs and indicators indicate, yes, indicate the divine artificer, the divine creator. So therefore, if you know yourself better, you will know the creator better. وعلى أنه ينبغي لك أن تتفكر في آلاء الله وآياته التي أوصى إليك ونعمه التي أسبغها عليك. And also Of course, the first line of contemplation is the contemplation of the signs of things. In the same way as a person wishes to perceive the shape of the sun, he would do so not by staring directly at the sun, but through perhaps the medium of things which will soften the effect of the sun upon the eye, as if to watch it through a mirror or through its reflection and so on. So likewise, the first is to contemplate the Creator through His creation, and then secondly also to think about the relationship of the Creator in His giving of His bounties to creation. أن تتفكر في آلاء الله, His bounties, His gifts, وآياته, His assistance, التي أوصلها إليك, that He has sent to you. Let's think about this. The Subhanahu wa Taala has consistently renewed His arzak, yes, His sustenance. He sustains not only humanity but the rest of creation continuously, yes, through the growth of the germinal seeds in the soil. Yes, he returns rain to the earth. He sends fecunding winds. Yes, that produces the clouds that sends down the rain. He renews all sorts of things. Despite our aging process, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala maintains, yes, the internal functioning of our organs, like the beating of the heart. These are all beyond our control, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to sustain such ni'mah. And not to mention, yes, if you are forming the tafakkur, you would think about the support that He's given you through the existence of the community around you, yes, the existence of the stability, if you happen to live in stable countries and so on and so forth, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you were to enumerate, if you were to count, yes, if you were to count the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will never arrive at its end, because every aspect of existence is ni'mah. In fact, according to the scholars of Tasawwuf, existence itself is a ni'mah. Your very existence is the greatest ni'mah. What we call ni'matul ijad, the greatest existence, the greatest ni'mah that He has given you is to endow you with existence. Had it not been for His free endowing you with existence, you would have remained, yes, in Adam, yes, instead of being ma'doom, instead of existence, wherein not even the whiff of existence is given to you. You would remain as if you were ideas, yes, not to experience anything, not to know memory from projection, to know pain from pleasure, not to know dreams and hope and anxiousness and bashfulness and the various colors of emotions that became possible as a result of Him endowing you existence. فاذكروا آلاء الله لعلكم تفلحون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us, therefore contemplate, yes, the ni'mahs, yes, the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order that you will be successful. Allah, yes, the present day mantras being taught by the self-appointed gurus, the self-appointed self-help gurus, yes, with regards to success, is disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah, our Creator, tells us that if you wish to attain success, then contemplate about the ni'mah that He has given you. Yes, because that produces the state of shukr. And shukr is, first and foremost, to acknowledge and recognize the ni'mah as coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the ilim part. Then the hal. The hal is the internal feeling of thankfulness, gratefulness, yes, for the ni'mah that He has given you. Then it induces the af'al, the action. The action of gratefulness is to use that which He has given you in a manner that shall please Him. Yes, to use that which He has given you in a manner that pleases Him. So therefore, it is insufficient for a person to merely thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with her tongue, with her voice, with her heart, but then using the very same tongue, yes, in ghibah wa namimah, in backbiting and in spreading false stories about others, or to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the ni'mah of vision, yes, to be able to see things, and then to use that same eye, Yes, to use that same eye to look at things which are the muharramat, yes, the things which are forbidden to you, from the aura of the ajnabi, from the things that belongs to people that they don't desire for you to look at. Yes, like supposing our friend were to, open their handbags and then we were to jeer inside. Well, without permission, that's haram. Yes, or to look into the affairs of others. Yes, tatabbu'an, meaning to say to follow people's profiles and to see, how is this person a friend of that person? Aha, no wonder he's like this, like this, like this. Yes, in order to find the uyub. Yes, to find the blemishes of character and blemishes of people's past and so on and so forth. So that's not shukr, certainly. Yes, it is not shukr also. Yes, for thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving you a qalb that can experience the ni'mah of ibadah and then use to allow the heart to be infested with hasad. Yes, to be infested with envy, to be infested with takabbur, ujub, yes, and all the various other sicknesses. That's not a shukr. نعم. وقال الله تعالى وإن تعدوا نعمة الله لا تحصوها. If you were to enumerate the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would never come to the end of it. وقال تعالى وما بكم من نعمة فمن الله. Indeed, everything that is a ni'mah, everything that is a bounty, that is a gift, it is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وثمرة. So he discusses the thamarah, the fruits, result. Yes, the result of contemplating or taking this road of tafkir, imtila'ul qalb bimahabbatillah. Allahu Akbar. Yes, so why not? Yes, why not? Is that the heart becomes filled with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, واشتغال بشكره باطنا وظاهرا كما يحبه ويرضاه. First, therefore, the result of this line of contemplation is the love of Allah and also the occupying of oneself inwardly as well as outwardly as how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be pleased. Yes, so it is certainly an amazing line of contemplation. The thing about the human being is that if we are left idle and we're not thinking and contemplating about the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we are not thinking about the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in creation, that is when our nafs, yes, takes over, let us say, the machine, takes over our central processing unit, yes, and then to use that same heart, yes, to contemplate false things, or to contemplate on how to satisfy and fulfill its desires as ever growing and ever augmented. Yes, to develop and the seed of the hub dunya. All of this happens in hearts which are empty of the contemplation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the shayateen will come and visit. And the shayateen will, due to their own natures, being distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would come and visit the heart and then try to steer the heart away from dhikrullah and to focus more and more on the dunya and every other thing that will bring the soul of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further away. Do we have any questions for now?
Can I ask, like you said, acknowledging is one. That was the hal. Did you say that? Or the hal and af'al, and then was there third one?
There is the ilm, and then there is the hal, and then there is the af'al. So the first one is the ilm. Yes, with regards to all the maqamat, it's all divided like that. Tawbah has the ilm, the hal, and the af'al. And what we described just now was shukr. First, so for shukr, the ilm part is the recognition of the ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the recognition, meaning to say, to affirm that this is indeed a gift from Him. Then comes the hal. The hal is the feeling of thankfulness, yes? And then comes the af'al, meaning to say the actions which follows from the hal is to use the ni'mah in a manner that pleases Him. Now, conversely, let us say tawbah. Tawbah is the same. Tawbah begins with the knowledge that sins, yes, that sins are mortal, that sins have an effect on the heart. That sins may result in you being mahjub, you being let us say veiled from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hal is then it comes the hal that is produced in a person is therefore regret, desire to stop, yes, and several other things, yes, like pain in the heart, yes, and then comes or fear also, and then comes the af'al. The af'al is then is to cease, yes, to actually cease from the action, yes, and to correct the errors where it can be corrected, and then to strive not to return to that action again. So that's the Allah.
جزاك الله خير بارك الله فيكم.
Anything, Hussein? Shall we continue with the next book? Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Subhanak la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. From the book Sabil al-Iddikar wal-i'tibar bima yamurru bil insan wa yanqadiya lahu min al-a'mar wa yanfadiya lahu min al-a'mar. So this is the book which is translated as the lives of man, but its description in Arabic is more poetic because it is basically a contemplation about and reminder, yes, and reflection about what are the stages, what are the ages that a human being will undergo in his lifetime. Tabaan. Wala bismillahirrahmanirrahim wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. This is the typical this is how Imam Haddad would habitually begin his writings. Yes, la hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. There is no power, no might save that which is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanak, glory be unto you. There is indeed no knowledge to us except that which you have taught us, for indeed you are the most knowing, yes, and the most wise. Alhamdulillahil wahidil qahhar. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is singular and unique, who is the compelling, Al-Aziz Ghaffar, yes, who is the forgiving, Mudabbirul yes, the one who allots the ages, Muqaddir al-Aqdar, the one who determines the various proportions of things. Mulijun nahar fil layl wa mulijun nahar wa mulijul layli fil nahar. He is the one that turns day into night and night into day. Tabsirah wa dhikra li ulil basairi wal absar. And his action changing of the night into day, these are bright reminders of those who possess internal vision and external. Yes, subhanallah. One of the things that the great scholars of this Islamic intellectual tradition, as we perceive in the writings of their books, is that there is a standard, let us say, standard manner of writing. Yes, first and foremost, of course, is to begin the book with the Bismillah, yes, because this is from the nation of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, every action, every noble action, which is not begun by the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, yes, by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is cut off, yes, of barakah. Meaning it is removed from barakah, be it meetings or classes or books which are written, yes, or correspondences and so on and so forth. It's begun with the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim in the hopes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of his name, the merciful and the most gracious, that he would bestow upon us his rahmah, yes, that will earn us the rewards of the actions. And then secondly is to begin with the Alhamdulillah, yes, to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this also because the Prophet also said in another hadith that to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is how to begin one's affairs. And then after that, yes, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the books will begin with praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a series of praises, yes, exaltation. And usually, yes, the great scholars of this tradition will proceed with his praise in order to give you an understanding of what the book will be all about. Yes, this is called in Arabic the bara'atul istihlal. In other words, to give you a foreshadowing, Yes, by praising which attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which action of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you are intending to write about a particular subject matter. Yes, in fiqh. So usually in writings of books of fiqh, the author will begin with praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the hakim, for example, as the source of law and the one who has given sharia and so on. If he is to write on the subject matter of grammar or the linguistic sciences, then they will praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for being the source of clear speech, yes, al-mubin and so on and so forth with the other subjects. So now in this writing, Imam al-Haddad will present his contemplation on the nature of age, yes, on the nature of our lives. So that wa ta'ala, who is the singular, and also al-Qahhar. Subhanahu. This term al-Qahhar being one of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is the how do we know as human beings that we are compelled, or how do we know that as human beings that our freedom is not absolute? Well, the limit of our powers is first and foremost that every one of us have taste of death. Yes, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, yes, if indeed, yes, we are powerful, then when our lives has reached our throats, فَارْجِعُونَهَا إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ, then bring it back. فَلَوْلَا إِن كُنْتُمْ غَيْرَ مَدِينِينَ. And indeed, Allah swears, if you are not under our sovereignty and power, تَرْجِعُونَهَا إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Why don't you bring back your life if indeed you are speaking the truth? And no Haman, no Pharaoh, no Nimrod, no Namrud, no kings of the world has ever been able to escape this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the sole al-Qahhar. He says that he compels man by the very fact that he is the one that determines who comes into existence and when you shall leave the state of temporal existence. At the same time, we are also reminded of his being forgiving, Al-Ghaffar. Yes, he's being forgiving. He's introducing ourselves to his attribute of forgiveness. It's in order that we can improve our station. It's in order that we may escape his wrath, or rather that we may seek protection from his wrath by going towards him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, saves us from our wrath by us approaching him and seeking his forgiveness. Yes, and he is also the governor of affairs. And he is the one that determines our taqdeer, including our rizq, sustenance. He's the one that is in control of all that. And at the same time, he knows his signs of control of our lives by something more immediate to us, and that is with regards to the changing of the night and day. Yes, because we are able to see the great celestial objects of the sun and the moon. Yes, but yet they are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the markers of the change of time. And they're given other markers for the changes of life. And that is our growth from infancy to early childhood, and from childhood to our age, and then to youth, and then to maturity, and then to old age, and then to gradual death. And other phenomena in the realm of nature also show the aspect of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are forms of tabsirah. Yes, a means to awaken us. These are means for us to arrive at the right conclusions of things. فسبحانه وتعالى وتقدس. Yes. الملك العظيم متكبر جبار قديم الأزل دائم أبدي حي قيوم قضاء وحكم على خلقه بالفناء والانقضاء. Allah, Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, we glorify him. Yes. And indeed, he is his being is the most sacred. Yes. He is the one who is the king and the sovereign. He is eternal without beginning, and he is also everlasting without end. He is living, and he is the source of living for others. He has indeed decreed, and he has indeed established that all of his creation shall suffer al-fana, yes, destruction, absolute end, wal-inqida, yes, and shall we say expiry. Yes, wal-maut, wal-bala, that we shall suffer death. All of us, without exception, shall suffer death, والبلاء, and shall suffer and undergo trials and tribulations. والتحول, and change of state from one state to another state. والانتقال من دار إلى دار, and he has also determined that we shall be moved from one place to another place, yes, from one station to another station, because he is the Lord and we are his servants. He is the creator and we are his creation. Yes. So that's why we are not, any king in the world, any queen in the world, any sovereign, so-called sovereign in the world, they are only metaphorically sovereign. They are only existing as a matter of borrowed existence. They are powerful as a matter of power which they have been lent by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. But in truth, only Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the all powerful. If indeed any individual claims power for himself, claims sovereignty for himself, how can he stop himself from aging? Can he stop himself from dying? Yes. And can he stop himself from being transferred first and foremost from the realm of the alas to be rabbikum to the realm of the womb of the mother, the rahim of the mother, and then from the realm of the womb of the mother unto this world and the various places in the world that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has determined for us. And then from this world we cannot avoid, yes, we move to the next stage, which is the akhirah. And first and foremost, before that, the barzakh. Allah Allah. وتفرد بالدوام والبقاء, and he is singular, he is unique with his everlastingness, with his living and being or enduring to eternity, على تطاول الدهور, or the longest periods of time, for any measure of time. وامتداد الأعصار, times will change, yes, fashion shall change, uh, and undergo great changes, but he remains, yes. وانصرام الأعمار. أحمده بما حمده به نفسه. I praise him with how he has praised himself. وبما حمده به عباده المخلصون. I praise him also with the praise of his creation, yes, his servants who are sincere. من ملائكة المقربين, from the malaika who are brought close to him. وأنبيائه والمرسلين, his prophets and messengers. وعباده الصالحين الأخيار, and also the rest of the righteous servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. والصلاة والسلام, yes, and praise be unto the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and peace على عبده ورسوله, for his servant and messenger سيدنا ومولانا محمد المصطفى المختار الذي أرسله رحمة للعالمين, of which he has been sent as the rahmah for the rest of the universe. وَخَتَمَ بِهِ النَّبِيِّينَ, and it is through him that prophecy is completed. وَعَلَى أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ, and also upon the members of his household. الطيبين الأطهار, who has been purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَصْحَابِهِ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ, and upon his companions, both amongst those who have emigrated together with him and those who are the helpers of the emigrants. وَتَابِعِينَ, and those who follow the Sahaba. Allahum بإحسان, in the best manner until the day of judgment, والجزاء, judgment and compensation. وانقسام الناس إلى فريقين, and when mankind shall be divided into classes, one of which will be in the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وفريق النار. Alright, inshallah, I think we shall stop there. And the next time that we meet, inshallah, when we discuss this book, we will continue from Amma Ba'du, which is to proceed. Wallahu a'lam. Inshallah, over to you, Hussein. Okay. تفضل. على ما نوى صاحب الكتاب، ما نوى الإمام عبد الله بن آدم الحداد، وعلى ما نوى طول الزمان، وخصوصا من نية أن الله يصلح لنا أهوالنا ويفرج عنا كروبنا، وأن الله يرحمنا والمسلمون، وأن الله يجعلنا من خير الخلق لخير السلف، وبأن الله يطول أعمارنا في طاعته وطاعة رسوله على هذه النية، ولكل نية صالحة، وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الفاتحة. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.